Now group 1 is a 3-stage exam. The first stage is called preliminary, which is for 150 marks. The pattern of the exam is multiple choice questions, and the latest syllabus says the syllabus is general studies and mental ability. This exam is qualifying in nature, which means it will not be added to your aggregate. If you clear this exam, then you go on to write your mains. In mains, you will have 6 papers. Each paper is for 150 marks. So the total weightage of mains is 900 marks. The third stage is interview, which is for 100 marks. Now I'll tell you the changes in this pattern. Prelims remains unchanged. Prelims earlier was for 150 marks. Now also it is for 150 marks. The only difference is earlier the syllabus did not read mental ability separately. This was not mentioned separately. Now they have mentioned mental ability separately. Our analysis is maybe there will be more questions from mental ability. Usually they ask about 20 questions from mental ability. They might increase it to 25. That is the only change I anticipate in prelims. Mains, 6 papers. The change here is earlier you had only 5 papers. Now it is 6 papers. Earlier it was for 750 marks. Now the weightage has increased to 900 marks. And the interview was earlier only for 75 marks. These are the changes in the pattern. Okay. Now coming to group 2. There is no qualifying mark. That will be defined by the notification. For an OC, it will be 35% minimum to qualify for all the papers to be evaluated. Then the ranking will depend on the relative computation. Okay, and how they choose is from prelims to mains. For every one post, 50 people will be chosen for mains. Now check this carefully. The choice will be in prelims for each post. 50 people will be chosen to write mains. So the competition will be 1:50. And when it comes to interview, it will be either 1:3 or 1:5. This is how they go. This is how it is divided. So if you have, suppose if you have 1000 posts, how many people will write mains? 50,000 will write mains. And how many will go for interview? Either 3,000 or 5,000. This is how they take. And the mark cutoff cannot be decided before looking at the paper, because it basically depends on the toughness of the paper. Okay. Now moving on, group 2 is a 2-stage exam. The first stage is the written exam, in which you have 4 papers. The weightage of each paper is 150 marks. So the total weightage of the written part is 600 marks. The second, after this, the next stage will be the interview, which is for 75 marks. So the total weightage of group 2 is 675 marks. Now in this, the changes are, earlier you had only 3 papers. Earlier the weightage was only 450 marks and no interview. Okay, these are the changes. Now coming to group 3. Group 3 is a single stage exam. Now what they did is, all the non-executive posts of group 2 are formed into a separate category called group 3. Earlier you had these posts in group 2, but they were of the non-executive cadre. Now they will be called as group 3. Here it is a single stage because you will have only one written exam, and the number of papers here is 3. And the weightage of each paper is 150. So the total weightage will be 450 marks, no interview. This group has been newly created. Earlier you did not have group 3. Are you clear till here? Okay, the changes, the set pattern right now and the changes with the weightage. Mm. See, in the interview, they don't test, not just this exam, any exam, they don't test your intelligence. The very fact that you've cleared your mains or your written exam, you're coming to the interview in this competition proves that you're intelligent. Interview is basically a personality test where they try to analyze what kind of a person you are. How do you analyze situations and how you react to situations. Simple things like if you're not aware of something, are you honest enough to tell them that I don't know about this? That is what they analyze in interview. So it's not a test of intelligence, it's basically a test of personality. As I said earlier, it is a relative performance. Cutoff will depend on only one thing, the toughness of the paper. And the second thing that can define cutoff is how many people are writing the exam. If more number of people are writing the exam and the paper is easy, the cutoff will be high. Simple. So nobody can predict before the paper comes out, nobody can tell you that this is going to be the cutoff. Okay. Are you clear with this? Now can I move to the areas? Let's look at group 1. Mains qualifying, you have general English. I did not write that. You have a language paper, general English and qualifying. It is a must. General English is qualifying paper. It's a language test, qualifying paper. Sorry? No, I'll tell you how it works. When you say it is a qualifying paper, the meaning of qualifying paper is first they will evaluate this paper. If you pass in this paper, your remaining 6 papers will be evaluated. So that is how it is. First they will evaluate your qualifying paper, be it in civils or any exam. Qualifying paper means this will be evaluated first. You have to pass this paper. Only then the remaining papers will be evaluated. But the marks you get here will not be added to your aggregate. It's only to test whether you have that language or not. Clear with this? That's going to be a challenge for the Telugu medium students. Yes? Yeah, it's a very big challenge actually. The government may backtrack on it. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. It's a qualifying test. 1 minute. Yes? Yes, yes. 4 papers. Yeah. Uh, 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 uh. I didn't get your question, yeah? Okay. Group 1 prelims is for 1 paper. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, you have to write 6 papers. Yeah. Mm, mm. Yeah. Mm. I just started the orientation and I wrote the weightage. I'm not yet into the syllabus. So don't you think I should actually talk about the syllabus and then tell you the common areas? I know, I do understand that. See, I know how curious you are and curiosity usually kills the cat. But the situation is I need to explain the syllabus for you to understand what is common and how to prepare. Okay, let me just go through the syllabus for the 3 exams. Shoot your questions, everything will be answered. Somebody else lifted their hand. For what? The syllabus is not yet released, but let me tell you what is there in the syllabus. Then you tell me what extra can be there in the syllabus. Okay, now when you talk about Indian history, tell me, will they ask you anything beyond Indian history? Will they ask you American history or European history? They will ask you Indian history. At the end of the day, we have to teach Indian history. And competitive exams have been there. State Public Service Commission usually picks up the syllabus from Union Public Service Commission. So there are ways and means to define the syllabus. I totally agree to your point, but you can't stop preparing until the syllabus comes, isn't it? So we have to find a way out. Any other questions? Can I proceed with the syllabus now? Thank you. Now let's look at group 1. I'll first write all the papers in all the 3 exams, then I'll discuss each paper and the areas and the approach that you have to have for each paper. So please make a note while I write, and then we will discuss the entire syllabus. Group 1 prelims, that one paper is known as General Studies. Make a note of this, then I'll tell you what is there in each of these areas. Please make a note first. Please make a note of all that. Then I'll start explaining everything. It's a little clumsy. I know it will be little difficult for you to view this, but I had to put it in the board on one board. So if any of you need papers, please feel free to ask the office people. They'll give you papers. You want me to read anything? Tell me, I'll read it out. What happened, Sohel? Yeah, development and social change, but what will you teach is the question again. Economy hardcore will not be there. It is socio-economic. It is in line with the syllabus pattern. Pure economy, yeah. That is a welcome change. Finished? Yeah. Telangana? I'll tell you, wait. Curiosity will actually kill the cat. See, I can't tell everything in one go, yeah? Please let me do it in a phase-wise manner, otherwise you won't understand anything. Finish noting down. All pens down, look at the board and tell me what is the difference between, I'm not writing group 3 because group 3 will simply have these 3 papers. This paper is not there in group 3. Okay, group 3 syllabus is only this. 1, 2 and 3. This paper is not there in group 3. Okay, now tell me, if you prepare group 2, will you be able to handle group 3? You don't need any separate preparation for group 3. Clear. Now tell me, what is the difference between prelims and paper 1 of group 2? In terms of areas, any difference? Indian polity and economy will not be there in general studies. It is there as a separate paper. Okay. So if at all you prepare this part, will you be able to handle this part of group 1? Yes, you will be able to easily handle, because polity and economy will be taught at a will be taught with lot of depth in group 2. The weightage is more here. Okay. So if you prepare for group 2, it will be easy for you to handle group 3 as well as group 1 prelims, right? Now I'll tell you the changes that have happened. The first change in general studies is in geography. Earlier when we were teaching state geography, we were teaching all the 23 districts. Now the focus will be on Telangana alone. That is the first difference. The second difference is current affairs. There will be at least 4 to 5 questions only on Telangana GK. Now what do I mean by Telangana GK? What is Telangana general knowledge? Don't tell me, formation of the state of Telangana state, anybody would answer. Symbols, you have new symbols. What is the color of the symbol of Telangana state? Green. What are there in the symbol? What is out and what is in? What is inside what? You have Charminar and Kakatiya. What is inside and what is outside? Charminar is inside and Kakatiya is outside. Okay, new emblems designed. Can you tell me what are the 3 words on the police emblem of a state of Telangana? Compassion, honor, integrity, duty. Anything else left out? Three words are there: duty, honor, and compassion. Okay, we have a state song. Very good. Who wrote it? Andesri is the writer of the state song. So these are the questions related to Telangana GK. Places, institutions, right from research institutions to important universities, important industries, everything will be asked under Telangana GK. Okay, and that will be covered separately, because as I said, you'll get at least 4 to 5 questions only on Telangana GK. You have to know all the players from Telangana, painters, artists from Telangana. There'll be questions on any of these. New state, we all are living in that euphoria. Tspsc will definitely focus on this. Is this clear? Now coming to the second paper, I'll just finish this part. The second paper, the first change is there is a reduction in the weightage of state history and Indian polity. Earlier, only these two papers together were 150 marks. Now this is 50 marks and this is 50 marks. So there has been a reduction in the weightage of these two papers, to these two areas. Okay. Now they are talking about social structure and public policy. This topic, and you have this topic here of Indians and Indian society are the same. What is there in this topic? Now let's look at this topic. This topic goes like this: Indian society, social structure, social issues, public policy. Both the papers, we have to deal with all these things. Okay, now let me explain what will come under this. Do we have a society in India? How do you define a society? We live in a society, isn't it? Every day, at least once we say, our society, this is a taboo, this is to be done and this is not to be done. What do you mean by a society? Society, the meaning, definition. Can we call the environment around us as society? How do you? Group of individuals or people together? It is not individuals, because we all live in families, isn't it? Most of us live in families. So how do you define society? A group of people or group of individuals, families which live together, right? Now in a society, in the Indian society, we have different types of stratifications or divisions, right? How did the society evolve? The first question is, how did the society come to existence? I'll just tell you how to understand this. Indian society has certain characteristics. Every society in the world has certain characteristics. Likewise, we also have certain characteristics. The most important characteristic of Indian society is its diversity. No other society in the world that has this kind of diversity, right? So the first feature of Indian society is its. Now tell me, why is Indian society so diverse? Do you agree with me if I tell you that Indian society is diverse in nature? No other society has so many castes, religions, regions, communities, languages. We are diverse. So how did this diversity evolve? Because when you track that, you'll understand how our society evolved. No. We'll give a chance to the lesser spoken people. Any reason for the diversity of India? My old students. Different? No, but why are there so many languages, so many cultures in India? That is my whole question. You're talking about today. I'm talking about why it is like this today. Sorry? Ethnic groups. Why did so many ethnic groups enter India? The reasons are, India is one of the oldest civilizations of the world, first. Second reason is there has been a lot of migration. The difference between the migration that happened to other parts of the world and India is people migrated and settled here. But when you look at other parts of the world, they migrated, they used it as a transit point and they went away from that place. But it did not happen like that in India. They migrated, they settled. We call it Indianization. They adopted our culture. They gave us a part of their culture and it became a mixed culture. Do you agree with me? So the reason is for the India's diversity is the migration, the amount of migration that happened to India, on top of it, the settlement that happened to India. That is one reason. The second important feature of Indian society is the division or the social stratification of India. No other society in this world has social stratification. What do you mean by stratification? When you divide your society into layers or segments, you call it formally as stratification. What is the basis for stratification in Indian society? Occupation based stratification. No other society will have occupation based social division. What is the form of stratification in other societies? It will be income based, but it will not be based on your birth into a particular community. That is the second unique feature. And caste system in India is so strong that it has transcended religions. Today, Muslims anywhere in the world will not follow caste systems, but Muslims in India will follow caste system. The same applies to Christianity. Do you agree with me on this? People have converted into Christianity, but do they follow their own caste rituals? Do they carry their caste name? Yes or no? Yes, that is how we discuss the features of Indian society. So this part will basically be about evolution of the Indian society, right from the Varna system, the evolution, the Shweta Varnas, the Aryanization, Shweta Varnas, the Varna system, to the characteristics of today's Indian society will be discussed in this part. Okay, social structure is nothing but the arrangement of different communities in the Indian society. Then the next part of this is what are the social issues that are there in India? Is there any link between these two and the social issues in India? Our society, the way it is organized, is a cause for a lot of problems in India. Can you name one social problem in India? Dowry is a social problem. What else? Let's not talk about women problems. We'll discuss something else. Child marriage. It's a broad term, yeah. Reservation is not a social problem. Corruption, what else? Let's talk about something very, very new. You know, you're talking about things that have been there since 1947. It's been there since 1947. Anything new? Have you heard of something called honor killing? Yes? Is it something? It's something new that is catching up in India. Earlier it was only there in northern India. If you've been reading papers after the formation of Telangana state, there have been several instances of a honor killing in our own state. What do you mean by honor killing? What do you mean by honor killing? A person within the family is killed by the family members in the name of the pride of the family. And it usually happens in India because of intercaste marriages or relationships. It is a major problem in India. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to identify all the social problems that are there in India, look at the causes of these social problems, and then look at the suggestions to be made for these social problems. In between, we will discuss what are the different measures taken by the government to resolve these issues in terms of laws, schemes, and policies. Okay, now since I told you honor killing is a social problem, tell me what could be the reasons for honor killing in India. And most of the times, in the name of honor killing, the girl is killed. not the boy. What are the reasons? Don't just say caste system and end it. You can't write like that. Let's talk very general, okay? Now I'm asking you a simple question. Why do you think honor killing happens in India? It is not new to India. There are many other countries where honor killing happens, but in India you have specific reasons. What are the reasons? The first reason is social pressure. You're not worried about what will happen to your child. You're more worried about what might my people outside in the society think. There is a lot of social pressure which prevents the parents from accepting such relationships. Do you agree with me? That is the first reason. What are the other reasons? The second reason is usually in our society, the girl is considered to be the pride of the family. And it hurts our ego. You like it or not, but it hurts our ego badly when the girl does a mistake. If a boy does the same mistake, it is like Abbai Narchpotadi kind of attitude. But for girls, we don't have it. Do you agree with me on this? These are some of the reasons why you have honor killing in India. Okay? As far as laws are concerned, till date, there has been no comprehensive law made to control honor killing. Okay? If at all there was a law, we would have discussed about the law. Then what is the suggestion or way out to prevent honor killings? How do you create awareness here? Educated people in front of me, none of you are opening your mouth. How should you create awareness? Let's not talk about big things, when you get into the service, you do it. Let's start with small things. That I just told the same thing, Khalid. Let's not talk about big things. How? What else can be done? Khalid, we are not writing a book. Now, go and tell your parents the same thing. How do you do it? The first thing is there is a need for a comprehensive legislation on this. There is no punishment for honor killing in India. There is a need for comprehensive legislation. Many commissions have recommended that there should be a law which punishes honor killing. Honor killing is not a crime in India. You will be punished because you took life of a person, but not in the name of honor killing. Okay? That is the first thing. The second thing is more than awareness, there should be a way of encouraging such marriages. When society accepts it, the family will not feel the social stigma. You have heard of the word social stigma anytime? The social stigma or the social pressure we talk about is the main reason for honor killing. See, earlier when Tanguturi Veerashalingam and all these people were arranging widow marriages, how were they doing it? Were they doing it in closed doors? It was mass movement or mass weddings. Similarly, if there could be any NGO which can promote intercaste, interreligious marriages, this stigma can come down to a certain extent. This is how you have to address social issues. For mains, this is how you're going to address. Now coming to group 2, this part is very important. What do you mean by public policy and how is it related to social issues? What is a public policy? Okay. How do you define a public policy? I'm not asking you examples. Get my question right. What is a public policy? Any measure taken by the government for the people. It could be a law, it could be a scheme, it could be a policy is called as a public policy. Now I'll tell you how the syllabus works. Here you have to know all the laws, the schemes, policies and institutions established for these people. For example, if you talk about women, can you tell me some laws which are made for protecting women in India? Nirbhaya, domestic violence, you have to know the important provisions. What about schemes? Women-centered schemes. Shadi Mubarak scheme, have you heard of it? What else? Kalyana Lakshmi, Shadi Mubarak. Urdu version, Hindi version, inka. Beti Bachao, Beti Padao, Inka. You are aware of the current. What about the previous ones? Anything related to women health, anything related to education of women? Bangar Talli Patakam and all this. What about policies related to women? Dwakra is not a policy, it's a scheme. See, there is one policy by the central government which is called as the Purna Shakti Mission. It is for empowerment of women. Okay? Then what are the institutions that work for women in India? Government related institutions that work for women in India. Can you tell me an institution that works for SCs in India? National Women's Commission is the body which works for women empowerment, women related problems in India. You have to know about all this under public policy. This is the content of this part of your syllabus. And the reason why I am able to give you this is, this has been directly taken from civil services. General Studies Mains, paper 1 and paper 2, you have this in civils. And it is directly picked up from there. Okay? Yes, obviously. See, we have, at the end of the day, all of you remember, but before I tell this, I'm from this place. Okay, my forefathers are from this place and I have nothing against the state. At the end of the day, it is only a state that is created. We are not an independent country. Everything will not change. Laws will not change. Whatever the central government makes, the same thing is applicable for the state. The state government can add to it, but it cannot deny it. See, anyways, the center and the state will be covered, but broadly the laws will be made by the center. The laws are made by the center. Schemes, you will have state-run schemes and center-run schemes, but laws are made by the center. Okay? Are you clear with this part of the syllabus? Now moving on, another important area that has been added to your... Push it. Push it. Oh my God. I was going to break it. Okay. This is about Indian society. So this part, social structure and public policy, is nothing but related to Indian society, where you're going to read about the evolution, characteristics and problems in the Indian society, and what are the different laws, schemes, policies and institutions that work towards these problems. Okay. Beyond this, there is nothing for them to give for you in this paper. Is this clear? Okay. Now this part, Indian economy, state economy, development and social change is basically about the socio-economic development in the country. See, there are different theories of development in economy. That is this part of the syllabus, and schemes will be repeated here also. There is an overlap in the syllabus because schemes will be here and here as well. Okay? Developmental related schemes will be focused here. Now, I'll briefly tell you about the state history. If you have read history earlier, Indian or state history is divided into 3 parts. One is ancient, medieval and modern. And we cannot teach state history unless we teach Indian history, because by and large the state history will be defined by the national history. Okay, now what is the difference between ancient, medieval and modern? How do you divide ancient history, medieval history and modern history? Yes? Sohel, no. Medieval is the middle history and modern history the new history. But how do you, date it as earlier, middle and modern? Ancient history will stop with the Muslim invasion. From Muslim invasion it is medieval, and medieval history will stop with the advent of Europeans, not Britishers, Europeans. Were Britishers the first people to step into India? No. Then Portuguese were the first, Dutch were the first. Advent of Europeans marks the beginning of modern history. There are 3 phases of history, okay? The same division will be found in state as well, right? Now tell me, when we are reading ancient history, are we reading the India as it is today, or are we reading it differently? How is it different from the Indian political map today? It includes Pakistan, Afghanistan. Does it include all these areas? Yes. Similarly, will ancient Telangana history be only Telangana, or will it include parts of AP, Maharashtra, Karnataka? Will it? Okay. Now, in the ancient history, the most important dynasty as far as state history is concerned is where did they rule? Did they rule only on Telangana? Firstly, did they rule Telangana? No? That they rule a part of Telangana, the whole of South India. Major part of South India was under the Satavahana rule. The most important ruler of medieval history in state is Kakatiyas. What about them? What was the extent of their rule? Was it only Telangana? Majority of Maharashtra parts, Karnataka was also under Kakatiyas. Now what I am trying to tell you is, ancient and medieval history will not change. There is no possibility for change because you can't divide history on geographical boundaries. Am I clear on this? Now everything will change when we come to modern history. Why will it change in modern history? No, I said advent of Europeans. So why will it change in modern history? Modern history, AP and Telangana were under different rules. AP was under British rule. Where was Telangana? It was part of Nizam state. So it is easy to divide modern history. Are you clear with this? So the changes in the syllabus will be only in modern history. There will be minute changes in ancient and medieval. They will remove those kings who never ruled this part of the state. I mean Telangana part, they will remove those kings, but there will not be any substantial changes. I think this point is clear to you. Am I clear on this? Okay, now modern history, as I said, everything will change because AP was under the British rule and Telangana was under the Nizam rule. Now what we were anticipating was modern history will continue till by formation of Telangana. Now you have state history in 2 papers. In paper 2, the state history will end with 1947. From 1948 onwards till 2nd June 2014, this will come under paper 4. Is this clear? It's only arranged in a phase-wise manner. Are you clear with this point? Until 1948, you are going to study under paper 2. From 1948 to 2nd June 2014, it will come under paper 4. Then what will they ask in this phase? Sorry? Objective type questions. If it is written, as you said, they'll ask you for the reasons, they'll ask you about what went wrong and what went right, and you can write essays on it, given our experience and thanks to our political leaders. But objective type, what can you expect? In paper group 2, it is a major paper, 150 marks. What will they ask you? Right from the police action, they will ask you the dates, they will ask you the people who were involved in different agitations. There will be special focus on the Sri Krishna committee, its report. You will get at least 5 or 6 questions on Sri Krishna committee. You have something called gentleman's agreement. Have you heard of it any time? What is this gentleman's agreement? I'm not asking you who was there. I'm asking you what was the gentleman agreement all about? Why was it signed? Between whom was it signed? It was signed between Telangana and Andhra Rayalaseema leaders for what? For unifying the 2 states of Telangana as well as Andhra state. Before unifying, it was an agreement signed. You'll have at least 3 or 4 questions on gentleman's agreement. Right from who was there in signing the agreement, everything will be asked. There will be question on reorganization of states in India. When was the states organized in India? Any idea? 1956, they will ask you about that act. There will be questions on the AP Reorganization Act as well. You have to know the content of the AP Reorganization Act. Apart from all this, there will be questions, simple questions like, when was the TRS party formed? Can we expect a question like this? Because it was in the forefront of the entire agitation. Now from our idea, the way we want to handle that paper is, we first will give you the entire chronology of events that happened from 1948 when did KCR start his fasting? 2009 December, all of us know. What date? When did he end it? When did the central government for the first time declare that they are 9th December, for the first time Chidambaram made a statement that they are going to give a separate state. Am I correct? Now the chronology of the events will be discussed. Then the reasons for all important events, the causes or reasons for all important events will be discussed. We are also going to discuss about the people involved, the stand of all political parties. This is how this chapter, this part of the syllabus will be handled. Because you have to comprehensively know. The problem with this part is, the years are very less. We are only talking about nearly 60 years of history. Okay? And the weightage of the paper is very high. You can't leave even a single point out of this. You have to know the places involved, you have to know the people involved, you also have to know of those major suicides that happened in the course of Telangana movement. A few important suicides that were turning points. You remember we had a millennium march for Telangana? When was it? These are questions that will be asked in this. What do you think they will ask you? You had a millennium march. What was the biggest outcome of the march? It was not burning. Statues on the Tangman were broken, right? Where was it held? Tangman, Necklace Road, isn't it? The venue was Tangman and Necklace Road. When did it happen? What date? Telangana Millennium March. Write all these questions somewhere. After the exam is held, see if you got these questions or not. Because in group 2, this is what they are going to ask. Apart from this, there is nothing else to ask in this era. Okay? Till 2nd June, whatever, when was the bill, Telangana bill passed in the parliament? Any idea? By which date was it passed in Lok Sabha? Which date it was passed in Rajya Sabha? Which month at least? February. When was it passed? When first was it introduced in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? Lok Sabha. When was it passed in Lok Sabha? And when was it passed in Rajya Sabha? 20th February, not March. Both was 20th February. These are the questions that they are going to ask. Can you tell me one political party which did not support bifurcation of AP and Telangana? CPM did not support. They'll ask you questions like, which one of the following political parties did not support the AP reorganizations bill in the parliament? Did you understand how it has to go? So the chronology will define your entire syllabus. This is how it will be handled in the coaching. Is this clear with you all? Now let's move on to this part. This is about group 2. Now don't ask me the cutoff because I don't know how the cutoff is going to be. Depends on the paper. But one thing I can tell you is there will be a lot of emphasis on the state. Even in the general studies paper, you'll get more questions on state geography and state GK. So please focus on everything that is happening in the state. Okay? And now coming to group 1 mains. Now I'll tell you the changes that happened in mains. The first paper, general essay. You will have 3 essays. Each essay is for 50 marks. So how many marks is it? 150 marks. Now I'll tell you the changes. Earlier in general essay, you had international and bilateral affairs. You had one essay, one part from international and bilateral affairs. Now it is completely removed. Okay, they have specified the topics from where you will get essays. I'll just tell you the topics. They say contemporary social issues and problems. What are contemporary social issues and problems? I've already told you. Juvenile justice is a major problem that India is addressing. Honor killing is a problem. Black money is a social problem. Corruption is a problem. So all these become important topics for your essay. The next one is issues of economic growth and justice. Second topic that they have specified is issues of economic growth and justice. Can you tell me anything current related with the central government proposed for economic growth? Make in India is related to which sector of the economy? Can you write an essay on the importance of manufacturing sector in India? Yes, it is very, very important. 99% there will be a question on it because government is promoting it big time. The third topic in your essay is dynamics of Indian politics. Make a note of this. Dynamics of Indian politics is the third part. Now, what do you mean by dynamics of Indian politics? Can you give me a topic related to that if you have been reading papers? Anything? See, I'm not talking about political parties. It's not related to politics. As such, it is related to issues in governance. Have you heard of National Judicial Appointment Commission? Yes? And what is the issue associated with it which is currently going on in the papers? Independence of judiciary. There can be a question on independent functioning of judiciary. This is one political related problem. The other political related problem is criminalization of politics, because there is a Supreme Court ruling that political parties will come under the RTI Act. When this ruling is enforced, political parties have to give out information about their sources of income. So it is directly related to corruption and criminalization of politics. Then the third issue is you have this pardoning powers continuously in controversy. What is the latest controversy on pardoning powers of the president? Yaqub Mamun's killing, the mercy petition and all that. So they can ask you a question on clemency by the president, whether it should be there, should it be enforced, what has been happening, what are the controversies associated with it. These are dynamics of Indian politics. Now moving on, the fourth point that they've given you is historical and cultural heritage of India. Historical and cultural heritage of India. In this, more than the center, there will be a question on Telangana culture. Please prepare one essay on Telangana culture. Okay, the different festivals of Telangana, the uniqueness of Telangana culture, definitely they'll ask you. Okay, now moving on, the next one is developments in science and technology. This topic was not there earlier in general essay, they've added it recently. Developments in science and technology. Your MOM mission is very important. Mission to Mars is very, very, very important. Okay, then the next topic is education and human resource development. They've given these 6 areas and they said that one of these, you can get essay on any of these areas. Okay, education and human resource development. Can you tell me anything related to human resource development which is in news? Skill development is in news continuously. Why? The central government has recently launched the National Skill Mission. Have you heard of it? Why is there so much focus on skill development in India? No. The reason is demographic dividend in India. What is demographic dividend? We have the highest working age population in India and you have to create jobs for them. And India has a peculiar problem where the skill sets do not match the job requirements. That is the reason there is a lot of emphasis on skill development and it is directly related to human resources. Okay, this is how general essay is. Now paper 2, 3 and 4, 2 state history, modern Indian history and Indian and state geography. Geography was not there earlier in your syllabus. It has been added for 50 marks. Okay. Polity, governance and Indian society is the third paper. Governance was not there earlier in your syllabus. Governance is nothing but the implementation of the constitution and the working of the government. Everything related to the working of the government will be asked here. Indian society, I've already told you, that is the picture of Indian society. Paper 4, Indian economy, Telangana economy and environment related problems. Now what are environment related problems? Was it there in your previous pattern? Yes or no? Have you seen the previous pattern? Anybody who's seen the previous pattern earlier? Khalid. It was there in the previous pattern. It was a part of science and technology. What are environmental problems? What will be asked under it? They'll ask you, what is pollution? They will first know, you should first know the concepts related to environment. What are the concepts related to environment? Global warming, greenhouse gases, biosphere and so on. Part of this will be the law related to environment. Do you have any laws related to environment in India? What are the laws? You have pollution control laws, okay? You have Wildlife Prevention, Protection Act, then you have Forest Protection Act. All these are laws related to environment. The third thing in your syllabus will be, there are many international summits and conventions on environment. Can you name one? Biodiversity, have you heard of it? Then you have something called United Nations Framework for Climate Change. Yes? Then you have Basel, Rotterdam Convention. All these are conventions related to environment. That will be the content of this part. And it is already there. Go back and check the previous pattern. It is there in the previous pattern. Now moving on, science and technology is already there in your previous pattern. Data interpretation was for 100 marks in last exam. It is reduced to 50 marks, right? And the last paper is formation of Telangana state. The syllabus will be the same for group 2 paper 4 and group 1 mains paper 6. So when you're taking the coaching, please go back and write answers, frame your questions and write answers to whatever is being taught. If you do that, you don't need coaching again for this paper. Because if you come for coaching again for this paper, again we'll teach you the whole thing and we'll make you write the questions. The only difference is answer writing. Otherwise the syllabus will be the same for paper 6. Okay? Now this is about the syllabus. I don't know what clarity you got. Sorry? Science and technology and data interpretation. Data interpretation is statistics. They'll give you pie charts, diagrams, and they'll ask you to interpret the data. Now I finished with the syllabus. If you have any doubts with regard to the syllabus, please ask me. I'll resolve them. I can give you books that you have to refer for Indian society, but there is no standard book for history. The only books available in English is intermediate second year book published by the Telugu Academy. That is the only book available in English for Telangana history. Beyond that, there is no book. Okay? For Indian society, you can refer Ram Ahuja's Indian Society. There is a book called Indian Society written by Ram Ahuja. Ram Ahuja is the author. People who have prepared for civil services will know about this. Indian Society by Ram Ahuja. Telangana History, intermediate second year book. Telugu Academy. Intermediate second year book. Okay. Now if you have any doubts, where is my man? Are you clear on the syllabus? You had some doubt. You have any doubt? Any doubts that you want to ask me on the syllabus, please feel free. Telangana economy, I'll just tell you. Now let's talk about Telangana economy. Since he asked, I forgot about it. Please look at the board. In your economy paper, the first part of the paper will be, please put your cell on silent. Economy, the first part of your paper will be concepts. Now what are concepts in economy? I'll talk about one basic concept. Economy is divided into 3 sectors. What are the 3 sectors? Agriculture, industrial and service. Will you have the same division for the state or different division? It is the same. So will you agree if I tell you that the concepts remain same for both the center and the state? Yes, this will not change. Now the second thing is there are several laws related to economy, the most important being land reforms. Previous syllabus had this. Now think and tell me if you've been following paper. Since 2nd June, did the Telangana government take any land ceiling act? What is land reforms? Redistribution of land is called land reforms. Now how do you redistribute? The process, you require a land ceiling act which restricts the amount of land an individual or a family can own. Okay? Do you remember the Telangana government making any new land ceiling act? No. Who is that? Yes. When was it made? You're talking about land distribution. I'm talking about restricting the limit of land that can be owned by an individual. It is called Land Ceiling Act. That is not made. What you're talking about is distributing land to the poor. Am I correct? How much land should be distributed? No Land Ceiling Act has been made. The meaning of this is the same law that was made for the United States is still in force for Telangana. Okay, so it is not going to change. The third part, statistics. Will this change? Will statistics change? What will be the changes in statistics? They will ask you everything related to the state statistics, right from which is the most illiterate district in the state. Most illiterate district in the state. I think it is the least illiterate district in the state, Adilabad. Yes. Which state has the highest infant mortality rate? It is called IMR. Which state has the least infant mortality rate? All the statistics will be asked. Okay. Then from here the change begins. The next area where there will be a lot of focus will be 2014, 15, 2015, 16. Till now, how many budgets have been released by the government? Both the budgets will be asked. See, you understand one thing. Telangana economy came into existence only on. So there is no Telangana economy before this date. Whatever the government did in economic sphere from this date will form the state economy. Are you clear with this? So whatever has happened in the state from 2nd June 2014 in terms of economy will be asked in your exam. And to start off with, that is related to statistics, budget, schemes. What are the schemes that are launched by the government? What is the purpose of Mission Kakatiya? To remove silt. What else? Only to remove silt? You're spending so many crores? To increase groundwater level, to provide better irrigational facilities. All this comes under the objectives of Mission Kakatiya. Have you heard of Asara Patakam? What is the purpose of Asara Patakam? It's a social security scheme. Is everybody covered under Asara? Who all are covered? Only old age? Disabled, only disabled? Widows, who else? You finished. Handicaps, disabled, widows are over. Senior citizens, anybody else? Nobody? Weavers. What about toddy tappers? BD workers. These 7 categories are covered under Asara. The questions will be which one of the following community or category is not included under Asara Patakam. Okay? You have this Palle Velugu, Grama Velugu launching very soon. What is it related to? It is related to Grama Jyoti. What is it related to? Development of villages or strengthening local self-government? It is strengthening PRIs, isn't it? This is how they'll ask you questions. For schemes, you have to know the target segment. Who is going to be benefited by the scheme? What are the objectives of the scheme? And what is the budget allocation? What is the amount allocated for the scheme? Beyond this, they can't ask you anything, these three. And if at all they want to ask you, one more question they can ask you is, which ministry or department is handling the scheme? Who is handling Mission Kakatiya? Irrigation Ministry, isn't it? So they will simply ask you, this scheme is being implemented by which department or which ministry? These are the 4 points that they'll ask you on schemes. Clear with this? The last part of this will be, you have a new industrial policy unveiled in Telangana. What are the main features of the industrial policy? Single window clearance in how many days? Is there a slab for different industries, or for all industries it is 15 days? There are categories, industries are categorized, and for each category you have a different time period for permissions. Am I correct? All this will be asked under policies. Okay, these are the 4 areas on which you will have your entire state economy. Beyond this, there is nothing for them to ask. Something else that they can ask you is, see, the Chief Minister has been proposing that he will develop each district into an industrial corridor. Okay, he wants to set up one type of industry in each district or mandal. They will ask you on that. Okay, beyond this, there is nothing in state economy. Okay. Just remember this one thing, that the state economy starts with the inception of the state. Before that, there is no Telangana economy. So whatever the government did in the last 1 year in terms of economy will be asked for 50 marks. And believe me, this is going to be a boon for you all, because there is very little to study under state economy. Clear? So this is about state economy. Now tell me, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. It is mental ability only, there is no general ability. What else? And there is no computer proficiency test for group 2. It's a print mistake. It is only there for group 3, yeah? That too for typist posts. Yes. I'll tell you one thing, you want to ask me about the notifications. Mm. 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 Will the time period sufficient? किसके लिए? He's not asking about the time. It has released 25,000. Correct yourself, it is only 15,000. You mean to say that whether this syllabus will be enough for all the exams? For technical posts, this syllabus will not be enough, because you'll have the subject related papers. For generalist services, this is enough. Yeah? Right. It will be enough for general studies. If you have any subject related paper, this is not enough. That's what I'm telling you. General studies, this is more than enough. Okay. Now coming to the notifications, do you agree if I tell you that they have just released the areas in the syllabus and not the actual syllabus? Correct? And the second point is, in the 15,000 posts that they have identified, group 1 posts are only 51. Okay. Group 2 posts are very, very less. If they release notification for these posts, మామూలుగా కూడా ఉండదు, లిటరల్గా చెప్పులు తీసుకొని కొడతారు ఎమ్మెల్యేలని ఎంపీలని. సో దే వోంట్ రిలీజ్ నోటిఫికేషన్ రైట్ నౌ. Understand one thing, the first notification that will be released will be for constables and SI, because the number is huge. Okay, then the next set of posts will be engineers, because they need engineers for Mission Kakatiya. Fine. After that, the groups will be released, that too in a phase-wise manner. It will not come in a week or 10 days as speculated. Please don't be in a rush. The day this geo came, I happened to go to a bookshop. You won't believe. I mean, I could not even step into the bookshop. And half of the books stock is over, yeah. I went to buy a magazine. I mean, amazing. What will you do with all these books? Now, I'll tell you some important, see, it's an advice. I mean, I'm not concerned whether you join or not. The first tip is, please don't get, get carried with whatever speculation is happening in the market or what we are saying. Use your common sense. Okay, now tell me, if the government releases all the notifications in one day, will it benefit, or will it benefit if it releases the notifications in a phase-wise manner? Which is more beneficial, not for us, for the government? Phase-wise manner, you agree with me on this. So take it for granted that they will not release it in one day. Okay. The second thing is, the number of posts identified for Group 2 and Group 1 right now are very less. With this number of posts, they will not release the notification. The third thing is, even if when they release the notification, without this putting up the syllabus, they will not give you 45 days. They'll give you at least 100 days, because there is a change in the syllabus. And we all know how it works with Public Service Commission in the state. People will represent if the time period is short. Take it from me, at least 2.5 to 3 months time will be given. So don't be in a mad rush. Don't buy every book under the sky, and don't try to read everything. Okay. Now coming to how you have to prepare. First, identify the books that you have to read for each area. Okay. Limit them. Don't read 10 books for each area. Limit it to 2 or 3 books. Revise it a number of times, because groups is all about facts. They'll ask you more factual questions. They will not ask you analytical questions. Even if they raise the standard of the paper, it will be a mix of facts and analysis. So please don't buy too many books. Okay? And revise as many times as possible. Don't think about whether the time is limited or not. As long as you have a very strategized preparation, structured preparation, it is easy to crack groups. But if you go in a haphazard manner, you know what will happen? One student in the class buys a book. I mean, there are people who have this experience. One student in the class buys a book. The next day, the entire class will go buy the book. And by the end of your coaching, you'll realize that you have accumulated 100 or 150 books. To do what is the question? Humanly, it is not possible to read all the books. Let's understand our limitations. Do only that which is required to clear the exam. Okay? See, you want to end up being a teacher like me, or you want to end up in government service, is something which you have to decide. Because if you overread one area and neglect one area, you will not clear the exam. Okay? Read all areas in a balanced way, because ultimately you just have to clear the exam. You're not trying to, get 450 out of 450, 600 out of 600. It is not possible. And don't ever try to see the end of any subject in general studies, because they are endless. Okay? Just read what is required for the exam. Am I clear? Even if you're not able to answer one bit, don't worry. There are hundreds of people who will not be able to answer that one bit. Because these are the normal concerns with which students come to me and tell me, ma'am, I could answer 49 bits, but I could not answer that one bit. Why don't you look at the 49 bits which you have already answered? Okay? Anyways, this is it. If you have any doubts, I'll tell you. Age is 44, yeah, it is one-time relaxation for OCs. For all categories, 10 years it has been increased. So if it is 39 for a category, it becomes 49. If it is 41 for a category, it becomes 51. But it's one-time age relaxation. So if anybody is in the border, please take this seriously, because you will not have a second attempt. Sorry? SI, it's not. Uniform services, there is no age relaxation. It remains the same. Anything else? That's what I told you. Basic plan is identify the books that you have to read. See, there is a list of books that is put up in the notice board. You can just take a just take a pic or write it down in your books. That will be more than enough for Group 2. at least for the previous syllabus. For the new Indian society, already told you, Ram Ahuja is a good book, but you have to make a list of the schemes and laws related to the social problems in India. Fine. And in state history, in Telugu, I mean, you'll find a number of books, but in English, there is only one book by the Telugu Academy, second year history, intermediate. Beyond that, there is no book. Okay? Educational eligibility for 1, 2, 3 services is degree. For 4, it is intermediate. No, it is graduation, because earlier those posts were included in the under group 2. Anything else? General English paper is 10th standard, yeah. That's it. It won't be more than that. Indian history and Indian geography NCERT books are sufficient. Old edition for history, the new editions for geography. Anything else? Ask. I will not think otherwise. Ask me. Be it complex also, I'll answer if I can. Ask. Hmm. 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 I don't mind, yeah. If you're joining the institution, I think you should know about the faculty. It's your right. Hmm. 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 Government has not released. Government has not released. It is not 25 jobs, 1,000 jobs. Get that out of your mind. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Let them release. Hmm. 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 From Shikara. I'll tell you, the first thing you expect is we coach only for group 1, group 2 and group 3. We don't coach for any other jobs. Right? I'm very clear on that. General studies wise, whatever we give will be enough for any other exam under the state services. The second point is most of my team is people who teach for civil services. Right from myself, we've started a career with civil services. So the quality of teaching will definitely be different from the way it is taught in Telugu medium. That you'll understand if you see the notes. I mean, you have a few of my old students, you can always talk to them. The third thing is, I will be personally handling history and polity. Polity I've been teaching for quite some time, and history I've scored exceptionally well in civils. The problem with Telangana history, I don't know if anybody agrees or not, there is nobody who can teach Telangana history from Telangana right now in the market. People, all the names that you talk about in history in the market are from Andhra. And you like it or not, one fact about the syllabus that is there right now is, in paper 4, if you're teaching the formation of Telangana state, you have to criticize certain measures taken by the former governments, most of them which were headed by Andhra CMs. To what extent will they justify that? I can't tell you, which does not mean that I'm going to be overtly critical about it, but I will try to present it as it is. So that is another issue. As far as the third thing, coaching is concerned, see, our priority is not just to teach and leave you all. If that was the case, we could have hired a bigger place, a function hall or something, squashed the fees to 10,000 or 12,000, taken 500-600 admissions and finished it off. That was not the idea. The idea was to help people in a personal manner. The fourth thing is, personal guidance will be there, but there will be a lot of tests conducted in the process of coaching, because that will help you all. And for me, we all are experienced, but Shikara is just a baby and it needs ranks. Agree on all these things. We need ranks. So we have to rub you if we want ranks. It's as simple as that. 24 hours it's open. No, it is open 24 hours. Come at 12 o'clock in the night and see if it is open or not. You'll know whether it is open. We have one employee who works here in the night for the library. It's not the website, it is open. No, don't mention anything, but beforehand I'm telling you, if you have observed, there is a construction going on behind. The library will be shifted to the first floor in a month's time. That will be separated and this will be used as a classroom. Our commitment to provide a library 24/7 remains intact. If there is any change, you can question. I will not make this statement unless I'm sure about it. It is already decided. I told you, no, I wanted it to be a place where people can study apart from attending coaching. I think I'm done. Any other query, you can see me in the cabin. You'll have anyways, I'll just give you a brief introduction. Geography and disaster management will be handled by Ramesh sir. He taught me, in fact, when I was preparing, so he's senior. That is assured. Mental ability is taught by Subramaniam sir, who has been teaching since the last 30 years. I'm his student myself, and he's one of the most patient and committed teachers in the market. From 15th August, we've asked him to stay here for the next 2 months because we'll have classes for prelims and mains. So he and I will be available in the institution at any time from morning 8 to evening 8 o'clock. Okay. Now coming to polity and history, I've already told you all that I'm taking it. Economy will be taught by Hari Kumar, who's completed his PhD in economy. Any other area? Sciences, 3 people will be handling it. Physics, 1 person. Chemistry, 1 person. And biology will be handled by another person. What are we left out with? Current affairs, I myself will handle it, and I will give you current affairs from 2nd June 2014 onwards till date, be it the state, international as well as national, because I don't think they'll ask you anything before to 2nd June. Clear on this? Anything else that you would want to ask me? Timings, we have decided on 2 batches because there are some people who believe that the notification will come very early. Okay, so for them the batch is 9 to 6. And people who think that there is still time and can't afford to attend full time, the batch is 9 to 1 and 4 to 8. Any batch which is convenient for you. And if at all you miss a few classes because of any personal reason, please inform us immediately so that we can allow you for any other batch for those areas. That flexibility will be given. Anything else that you want to ask me? Sorry? Live streaming. Yes. We have live streaming. There have been some calls from abroad. So we are live streaming the sessions. See, I will suggest, please listen, I will suggest take group 2. Because, you know, as far as I understand students' mentality, they'll write group 1, group 2 and group 3. Okay? I will suggest take group 2 because it will be useful for group 1, group 2 and group 3. In group 2, if you are able to take time out and practice questions, then you will not need coaching for paper 6 in group 1 mains. Paper 6 and in fact paper 3 also. Economy you will not need coaching again because the same syllabus will be there in group 1 mains. But that depends on your partners. Anything else? Fee and all, just talk outside here. Only English medium.